How to create a professional Canva presentation in 30 minutes. Complete tutorial. Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys step by step on how you can create a professional Canva presentation. Now, we're going to be covering everything from scratch when it comes to templates, slides, frames, images, colors, arrows, transitions, elements, and sharing your presentation. So let's jump right in. Now for this, first off, we're going to be taking a sample topic because I want to be building on something that's real so you guys can follow along and, take your own topics and build your own presentations on that. So for that, as just a resource tab, we're going to open up ChatGPT and I'll just search for something really basic. So let's just create a presentation on maybe the IO psychology famous experiments like this. And then I'm just going to search for that. And then, the Hawthorne studies. And I'm just going to the motivation hygiene theory, the Milgram experiment, all of that stuff, goal setting theory, and all that. So I think we're just going to proceed over here and we're just going to go with the equity theory. So write in detail about the equity theory so I can add it to my slides like this. And now let's go back into Canva and start building. Now, I already have a Canva account. If you don't have one already, you can create one for free with your email address. Once you do that, you're going to click on Create Design on the top left and select Presentation. Now, once you select Presentation, you will see on the left you have a tab called Design. Once you click on this tab, this will display all the different templates that are available. So you can go on ahead and view some of the templates that you might want to use. So you can search for a specific type of style that you're looking for. So if I'm looking for a vintage look, if I'm looking for this to be related to psychology, so I can enter that over here. And you guys can see there are some amazing templates available. Now, you can use one of these templates, and I really do love Canva templates. I would definitely say that you guys should be using one. But if you're someone that wants to build something completely from scratch, you can go into the layout section, close out the search, and you will see some basic layouts that are highly customizable that don't have a lot of, data present, but they still have really nice layouts that you can use. You can even go into the style section to build your own combinations and apply them to the template or to the layout. But we're going to go into templates and I'm just going to search for psychology and I'm going to pick out a template that works for me and my particular presentation. So we have quite a few different templates available, but I want something that's clean and that looks nice. So I think we want something that is simple yet looks interesting. So we're gonna go, and I'm actually gonna go with layout so you guys can actually build from scratch. But first off, I have to build my title page. So for that, I can click on the title page. And this is a simple title page which does not have any text. When you add any element within Canva, you can click on the element and you can change that. So let's say I'm doing this on equity theory and I would just enter the title like so. Now, if you want to customize any text, you will click on the text and on the top, you will have the option to click on the fonts and then a pop-up on the left will appear where you can search for different fonts and browse different fonts. Now, Canva has the ability to simply find a font for you. So I want to look for professional fonts and I'm just going to search for professional. They can't find anything so I'm going to go for corporate. And you can search for corporate and this will suggest all the corporate font styles that are present in Canva. Once you choose the font that you like, you can proceed on to the next step. Now, the background is going to look a bit blank when you start out, so you can go on ahead and click on the background and then click on the background color from the top. This allows you to customize the background color. The way that you're going to customize is by clicking on Add New Color, and you can add the specific color you want. You can even add a gradient and pick out the gradients colors that you want to use. So I am going to be creating a black background and then I'm going to click on the text and then change that to white. Now, this still looks pretty empty, so you might want to add things like different slides and different elements to decorate your slide. So click on Elements on the left. Once you click on Elements on the left, you're going to add graphics. the way that you're going to do this, you can go into graphics over here and you will see some magic recommendations. These are recommendations that Canva is going to base upon your current slide. And these are really nice recommendations. So I actually want to add a little bit of a dynamic appearance. So what I'm going to do is I am going to actually go on ahead, scroll down, and you will actually see different collections. They're usually going to follow a certain theme. So I want to go with a really professional theme. So we are going to go for these monoline elements. And I am going to take a couple of these elements so we can include these into our design. And I'm going to add these hands and then change the color. Some elements have, colors that can be changed, whereas certain elements do not have colors that can be changed. For example, this was just a image or a line drawing, so the line color can be changed. But if I go into graphics and I go for certain images, like these ones over here, they have multiple different colors added and I can change individual colors, but some elements might not have that ability. So this just depends. Now you can click on Add Page to add your secondary slide. Once you add your secondary slide, you will have a blank page with a simple background. You can click on Design and then go on ahead and choose a layout that you want. This just depends on your information. So you guys can see I have added equity theory and I want to add the basic information of equity theory, and I'm just going to copy this. So I'm just going to copy this completely and then I'm just going to paste it over here. Once I do that, I'm going to click on the color and change it to white, and then I'm going to choose a smaller font size. Once I've done that, this information looks really bleak because there is no type of visualization to it. So if you add it over here, you will see on the left, you will actually get layouts by Canva, which are going to optimize the sizing for your content. If I place my content like this, you guys can see all the different layouts that Canva is actually suggesting that I can place my slide in. So this includes images, this includes these types of designs on the sides as well. And I think I want to proceed with an image style like this, or I want to actually flip this design. So I want it to be on the right side. That's just my personal preference. So I'm going to go with this one over here. And once I do that, this directly changes my overall appearance over here. And I'm going to delete this text block by clicking on Ungroup. And then the bottom text block can be deleted. Now, this is another thing to note. If you don't want to accidentally move something like this, what you can do is simply hold items together. And once you hold them together, you can click on group. Then if you move one item, the entirety of the items is moved. And then you can click on ungroup when you want to move an individual part of those items. Now that we've added this section, we're going to go back into elements. And from here, you're going to customize and add your own image. So I'm going to delete the image from here and I want to add a bit more of a rounded effect. So I'm going to click on elements, and then when you click on elements, you have this section called shapes. Click on shapes over here and then choose the shape that you prefer. I want to go with more so of a circular appearance, so I'm going to delete that and add a circle. Then I'm going to click on the circle and then click on the top where I can change the color. Once I do that, I'm going to increase the size of this. Then I'm going to click on the shape of this square over here, and I'm going to delete that. Instead, again, I'm going to add the white circle and then place it over here and resize it so it fits all the text. Once I've done that, I want to make this a bit more of a oblong shape so it connects with my initial circle, and I'm going to convert both of these to white. And the initial circle, I'm going to make a bit oversized over here. And once I have done that, I think the oblong looks a bit odd, so I'm going to stretch my text in a little. And now it's time to add an image. I don't want the image to be square, I want it to be circular. So you're going to add a frame in your Canva design. To do this, go into elements on the left, and then you're going to go ahead and search for frame, or if you directly go into elements and scroll down, you will see a section called frames. Click on see all and you will see different shapes, film and photo frames, paper frames, devices, floral frames, and more. I'm going to go with basic shapes and I just want to add a circular image. So you guys can see there are a lot of different shapes. We can find a circle over here. I don't know why it's not visible right now, but I'm going to add this frame, and on the top we have the corner rounding. This is still a rectangle. I don't know why there's not a simple circle. If you go back and go into frames, you will see a simple circle. And then you can just resize this to your personal liking. Now I'm going to resize this to be present just within my white circle while still leaving like a border around it. And then I'm just going to make my text like this. Now, once you place a frame and you place an image on top of this, it's going to be placed directly on top and it's going to be converted into the shape of the frame. So to upload your own pictures, click on Uploads on the left and then click on Upload File. If you do not have your own images, you can search for Elements. And once you go into Elements, you can search for the type of image you're looking for. So let's say I'm just searching for equity, and I'm just going to search for equity and then go into Photos. And equity is not going to give me a lot of nice images. So instead of equity, I'm going to search for Stacey Adams maybe, because Stacey Adams is the founder for this theory. And I have no idea if this is the actual image of the person. I'm gonna actually Google this. And this is, no, Stacey Adams, psychologist. And we're gonna go into images. I think this is the picture of the actual psychologist. So we're gonna search for John Stacey Adams, because that's his name, John Stacey Adams. And yeah, we cannot find a picture of him, so I'm just going to click on copy image on Google, and you can easily just copy an image and then paste that in to Canva. Now I'm going to delete the initial image from the frame, and then I'm going to hold this image and drag and drop it onto the circle. And you guys can see it has been dragged and dropped onto the circle. It's not necessary you add the image of the author. You can add really very much any image that is related to your presentation. If I search for equality over here, go into photos, and we can add one of these photos that is regarding equality. I think I'm going to go with this one because this is a bit artistic and it looks nice. So I'm going to add this, and now we're going to add our next slide. Once I add my next slide, I can go ahead and look at some of my basic concepts. I have these maybe 4 basic concepts that I would like to add in one slide because I want this to be really brief. I want this to be filled with info. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to go into design, and then I'm going to go into layouts. Once you go into layouts, you will see these pointer layouts, and these pointer layouts are going to help you in building those sections with a lot of different information. So you're going to scroll around. We can find a design that works best for us. I think I want to go with this one over here, and I think I'm going to go with this one because I'm just going to convert this into 2 size, which means that I'm just going to scrunch this in and do Command C and Command V, and then I will have 4 of these. Then I'm going to hold them all together, and I'm going to resize them, and now I have 4 variations of the same box. And now I can add all of my key concepts. Now I do have to alter the numberings on these because those do need to be changed. So I'm just going to delete the numberings. I don't think I want the numberings anyways. You can place them on top if you want, but I'm just going to delete them. And Canva will actually suggest, different layouts that include 4 sections. So you can see they are suggesting this one, and I actually think I like this more. So I'm going to add this over here, and we have these little 4 sections where I can add my different concepts. And then you're just going to copy out your text, and I'm just going to paste that in, inputs, outputs, comparisons to others. And Canva keeps on, altering the layouts that it suggests. That's because as you edit your design, it's going to take your input and start designing, further. So just go back into the Elements tab because it can be a bit annoying. When you keep on viewing it, it's going to change all the time. So I just find it to be easier to work within the Elements section. Now moving on. We're going to copy and paste the rest of our content. So we have received inequality and reactions like this. We're going to paste that. Then we have our final section, which is restoring equity. Now, once I have pasted in all of my content in my slide, I have to go ahead and add relevant design. So relevant design should be very much linked to what your topic is talking about. And we're going to add key concepts. Now over here, if I want, I can take these symbols and add relevant symbols, but for my terminology, there's not going to be a lot of symbolism that's accurate. So I think I'm just going to go with these random designs. And if you want, you can actually do, relevant designs. Just go ahead and go into elements and then search for graphics. And we can use relevant design as well. This is up to your personal preference if you like, random symbolism or if you want to go with direct symbolism. We're going to add these relevant or, accurate symbols, and this goes into the inputs and outcomes section like this. And then I'm going to delete this one, and this one. And then I'm just going to search for comparison and just look for the graphics. In the comparison section, this is going to be this. Then I'm going to change the color to white, and I'll resize these later. Now, I think comparison, this is going to look better in inequity and reactions. I'm going to go with comparison to be like this, and then I'm going to change the color for this as well. Once I do that, I'm going to search for equity, not in color, but in elements. And you're obviously going to be searching for your own terminology. And I'm going to change this to white as well because I have a black background. Now, once I do that, I'm going to hold Command, okay? Or you can hold Shift or Command depending on your device. And you're going to hold everything together. Then you can just resize everything all at once instead of having to do it one by one. And then we are going to just add our symbols on top of every element. You can hold Shift and hold all of the logos together, not delete them, but if you click on Shift, hold everything together, click on these three dots, you can click on Space Evenly and click on Tidy Up to make sure that everything is aligned correctly. You can even click on Space Evenly and evenly space them vertically and horizontally and align them to any level of your slide. After that, it's time to add some transitions because if we click on present over here, our presentation is going to look really boring. So first off, I'll show you guys how to add element transitions, and then we're going to move towards adding transitions for each individual slide. So for adding transitions to elements, just hold the element and then you're going to click on animate on the top. And this will display how you want the element to appear within the slide whenever the slide is opened up. Now, I have a lot of different availabilities of, these animation styles. And if you want to actually change the intensity of these animations, you can even do that with the pro version of Canva. Now, I want this to be really smooth and I don't want this to be too dramatic. So I think we're gonna, first off, I'm gonna remove the pulse effect. And I think I'm just going to go with the succession look. And then I'm going to change the speed to be pretty slow. And then I'm gonna click on the text and then add the same effect with a similar speed and intensity. So we're just going to add that over here like this. Once I've done that, this is what the animation is going to look like when my slides open up. So it looks really nice. Now, moving forward, I want to add further animations to the page because every time a page is changed, I want to have some level of, interesting appearance. So for that, you can click on over here and click on Add Transition on the bottom. You can hover your cursor between any two slides and you will see the Add Transition section. Click on Add Transition over here and you will see the type of transition you want to add. You have different transitions including Match and Move, Flow, Stack, and Chop. I personally like the Match and Move the most simply because it looks really seamless, and you can change their duration as well. And depending on how identical your elements are, this looks really, really nice, but I'm just gonna make the duration to be not too long, but not too short either. 0.4 seconds is enough. Once I've done that, I can even click on my transition, and you can click on apply between all pages if you want the same transition. However, it's time to apply further animations to each individual page. So to add more animations, just select the image, text, or block, and you can add animations to that. For example, even the background circles that we are using can be animated in a different way. So if I want, I can actually add a animation to these circles where we have things like tectonics, we have drifts, and we can add other types of animations like tumbles and more. So you can choose the type of animation that you want to include onto your Canva slide. And I'm going to just proceed with a simple variation of this. We're not going to add too many animations, but this is what it looks like for now. So this is what our slides look like, and this is how it's going to appear. Now, obviously, for individual elements, the more animations you add, the better it looks. So we can click on similar type of elements and we can add similar animations like this. And I think I'm going to go with the succession animation. And I want this to be at a slower speed. And I want the intensity to be slower as well. Then I'm going to click on the text over here and then click on animate. And then the text I might want to add in a different effect. So I think the text I want to go with a baseline effect or maybe a breathe effect. No, I think I just like this succession effect a lot. So I think we're going to go with a really slow speed on the text as well. And just like that, we have our effects. So now if I show you guys the, the presentation, this is what it's going to look like. And you can, change this according to your speaker's speed. You can really monitor that as well. Now that we have learned some of the basic foundations of Canva, we can now go ahead and add something a bit more dynamic. So to add a bit more of a flair to your presentations, you can add arrows and highlights. You can click on any text over here and italicize it. You can also add different alignments. You can also make it bulleted. You can choose a lot of customization in this. So to add a bit more of a flair, you can highlight the text in different ways. You can go into the element section on the left and just search for blob over here. Then go into graphics, and in the graphics you're going to see a lot of different, these text boxes, and you can use one of these text boxes like this. You can click on the color and then customize the color. So we're gonna go with like this neutral tone like this. You can add that, and then you can edit the size of this as well, like so. You will see a lot of different shapes and sizes are available, so you can really pick out the blob that fits your overall text the best. Now, moving forward, if you want to add more attention towards a certain heading or a certain thing, you might want to use an arrow to do so. You can click on elements on the left, and once you click on your elements on the left, you can actually search for arrow, and then you can go into shapes, and these are lines and arrows. So if you go with the lines section, so all of the arrows that fall under lines, you can actually alter the weight of these lines, which means that you can make them thicker or thinner as you please. So you add a line, and let's say I want to point to key concepts, and you can actually attach them to different elements together so they all have this like vertical or horizontal angle. You can click on the color and then click on the line style. You can choose it to be dotted, if you can choose it to be a dash line, or you can also make it thicker or thinner, and you can also round the end points like this. So a simple line can be converted into many different ways, and you can even use the shape section, which can also be altered in a similar fashion. You can even click on the corner rounding here and round the corners. You can alter the line weight, the border weights on this as well. So you have the ability to add these shapes and arrows so you can bring about attention. But if you want a more artistic feel, you can go into the graphics section. And in the graphics section, you're going to find arrows like these that are twisted. Some of these also have the ability to change color as well as line weight. So this really depends. And some might not have the ability. So if you go for certain arrows like this one over here, you may or may not be able to change the line weight for this. For this one, if you change the line weight, I'll show you guys what happens. I'll change the color, and instead of changing, the line weight, it has actually changed the border weight. It's not going to be the line itself. So make sure to select a line that you can adjust the sizing for accordingly. And once you have, your arrows ready, you've, set it up properly, and you're satisfied with the appearance of everything, you can rotate elements together like this to just make everything look synced up nicely. And I'm going to delete all these other ones that are looking a bit too off. We're just going to add this simple one here. And then we're going to move towards our next slide. Now, in this slide, I'll show you guys how to add interesting text look. So if you want to add a interesting text look, you can actually type out any text. For example, if I add equity, EQUITY, and then I'll just make it super large like this. Once you make it super large, make sure you're going with a really bold font, and you can actually, and I'll show you guys how to do this as well. I'm just going to take this over here. Once I place it at a nice distance, I'm going to go into elements and search for line. Once I search for line, I'm just going to not go in the graphics section. I'm just going to go into the shape section. take a simple line and then place it on top over here. Place it border to border like this. Make sure it does not have any rotation or angularness. Then after that, you're just going to search for square or rectangle. You can just go into shapes and just take the square shape and make sure to choose like a nice color scheme for this so you can change the colors later on. I'm going to go with like a neutrals color scheme. And what you can do is that you can take each individual line block, and if you place it around the letters, so if I place it like this, not like this, I'm going to have to go for the line for this instead. Again, search for line, go into shapes, take the simple line, change the line weight to like really thick. And once you do that, change the color as well. You can take your line and then you can rotate that, okay? And you can place it behind the text. So make sure to place this behind the text itself. I'm gonna have to make it slightly skinnier for that. And once I do, I'll click on layer and then click on send to back. And then you can place, all of your line elements to create a animated effect. And this is going to be really time consuming. This definitely does take a lot of time because all of the lines need to be placed behind your text and all of them need to be of a different color. You guys can see just as soon as I've put in 2 colors, you can see what it looks like. But when you add the entire effect, it looks really nice. And if you want to, add really dynamic and really interesting pages, you can do that. Another really great way to add dynamic or interesting pages is to go into the element section and search for alphabet. And you will actually see some interesting graphics for alphabets. And you can find the alphabet type that you like. So if I want to add these types of glowy ones, just click on this, click on see all. Then you can click on view more by the same artist. And the artist probably has the entire collection of alphabets. So in the artist section, if I search for alphabets, you guys can see they have the entire collection of similar looking alphabets that I can use. So that is how you can create a Canva presentation. Now, once you have completed your presentation, you're going to share this, and you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can click on share on the top right and copy the view link. So you can change this to anyone with the link, and you can choose the permissions, if they can edit, if they can comment, or if they can view. So I want to only give viewership permissions, and then I can copy this and send this out anywhere, and anyone with the link can view it. You can even create a public view only link. You can also choose to click on download and download as a PDF. But if you download this as a PDF, none of your animations are going to work. So make sure to keep that in mind. Otherwise, you can download this as a PPTX, but I don't recommend it. It simply ruins a lot of your animations, and it does, mess around with a lot of your formatting. So the best way to present this is to just share a view only link and directly open it in the browser of your secondary device or of your presenter. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe.